to fit in that position as we wait for this special NDC that will ratify a certain member? Why did the party rather go for someone who was not part of the hierarchy of the deputy party leadership?
Grace, you remember even when Baba was leaving for AU, he brought in Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, was not a deputy party leader, but as a founding member who would unite people at the time, he brought him in to be acting party leader. When you lose a leader of that magnitude, there's likely to be push and pull. So you could make a decision to have a figure that can unite in the meantime, can bring people together, can consolidate, before then people go on to the issue of choosing the leader. And by the way, it is the deputy party leaders themselves who proposed Dr. Buru. Dr. Buru was proposed by Abdul Samad and seconded by Simba, in the recognition that with that sudden demise, just propping one person over the rest, because these are peers, If we had only one deputy party leader, it might be a different story. But these are peers. So if you prop one and not the others, you can cause a lot of division. So that also was the wisdom that Baba used when he was going to the AU. And it's the same wisdom we applied. We said Dr. Buru has worked with Baba. They are, brothers. He was Baba's advisor. He was, he can be a stabilizing factor in the, as we move towards the general election.
All right. Ndo, before we talk about the special SDC that is expected to happen tomorrow, there is this question of should Kenyans trust ODM, because it seems like it nowadays changes depending on political convenience. Now that you're in the broad-based government, you're supporting whatever the president is saying and you're going forth with what he's saying. So should it really be trusted, or do they just follow political convenience?
I think ODM should be trusted because we stick to some of our founding principles. How? When we went into the broad-based government, remember, it also wasn't easy. People also came out and said, Baba, you've betrayed us, you've done this, you've done the other. But for the sake of the country, he decided that we move forward. But he didn't move forward on its own alone. He said, these are the things that I would like to be addressed. Devolution issues. These are issues that ODM stand for. And because of that stance and that 10-point agenda, we moved from 380 billion to 405 in this financial year. In the next financial year, it has been agreed that we would be over 450 billion. That's an increase of about 80 billion in 2 financial years for devolution. That's what ODM stands for. That's something that ODM fights for. On the issue of human rights and these issues around human rights violations, I think one of the things we put there was the issue of compensation for victims of post-election violence. And this year, in this supplementary budget, we've put in 2 billion to start the issue of compensation through the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, or whatever infrastructure they will set up. I think that is a big step forward for what ODM believes in. ODM believes in inclusion of minorities, and that's what we stand for. We are a party of minorities. We are a party of embracing. That's what Baba built. And you look at the appointments that are being made. In the beginning, there was a problem around appointments. It was looking heavily, just one-sided. When we had appointment of PSs, we had, young people from Kilifi, people like Fikirini Jacobs. We had another young man from Samburu. We had people from Kajiado. We had people who had never thought they would be in government. If you look at the spread of development across the country, and I say this not just for the sake of saying, but there are regions in this country, particularly ODM regions, that have been left behind as far as development is concerned, because of the political position that ODM has taken over the years, whether it's in the coast, whether it's northeastern, whether it's parts of the Ma, or whether it's Nyanza or western. And the kind of things we see, like for example now, the SGR moving from Mombasa all the way to Kisumu and on to Malaba. These are things people hoped for, but it never happened in the past because sometimes of political positions, but the broad-based government has brought it together. If you look at an international airport in the Mara, in Narok, this is the kind of progress that I can say we have achieved through this cooperation.
What is the reason, and it might sound bizarre that I ask, But what is the reason of the insistence of